Welcome back. Today, I'm going to dive into a phrase that changed the way I look at anxiety, spirals, and that exhausting mental loop that so many get stuck in. But before I dive in, I want to share a testimonial that I received from Carrie. Last month, she attended one of my retreats and she stayed overnight in the retreat house. It's a long one, but a lot of people have a hard time understanding how they could get value, so much value in 48 hours. And I think if you really listen to what she's sharing, you'll see how your entire life could change in such a short period of time. Okay, I'm going to dive into what Carrie said. Before the retreat, I was carrying what many high achieving women silently shoulder: mental and emotional overload, avoidance of tough conversations, and the pressure to constantly get it right while leading and serving others. I wasn't burned out in the obvious way, but I was tired in places that productivity couldn't touch. I came to the retreat thinking I needed tools to reset my boundaries and maybe recharge my energy. But what I left with was something much deeper: self-awareness, emotional clarity, and a new level of acceptance of both myself and of others. One of the most powerful takeaways for me wasn't just learning how different our perspectives of a single situation can be, but that they are all valid and they can all be valid. That kind of insight doesn't just shift your mindset, it reshapes how you lead, how you parent, how you love, and how you respond. Dr. Steph created an experience that wasn't about quick fixes or motivational fluff. It was deep, grounding, and refreshingly honest. She helped me recognize how I show up, how I'm perceived, and how to embrace feedback not as criticism, but as a mirror for growth. The self-awareness tools that she gave us were simple but profound, and I've already used them in both personal and professional settings. And then there were the late night conversations, the ones where you're curled up on a couch with other women who get it. No surface talk, no posturing, just real, raw, beautiful moments of connection. We didn't need the small talk because we were all there seeking the same thing: healing, clarity, and peace. That sisterhood, that unspoken understanding is something that I carry with me. If you're wondering whether this is for you, if it's worth it, I'll say this: I didn't realize how much I needed it until I walked in the door. I left feeling more grounded, more honest with myself, and more capable of moving forward with intention and grace. This isn't a retreat you forget. It's one that changes the way you move through your world. Oh my gosh. The first time I read that, I teared up. The second time I read through it, I got full body goosebumps. One of my favorite things, if not my favorite thing to do, is to host these in-person events because they are so life-altering if you allow them to be. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the topic for today's episode. And that is: overthinking is under feeling. If you've ever found yourself replaying a conversation 20 times, 40 times, 10 times in your head, or you can't fall asleep because your brain just will not stop the what ifing, or you keep trying to figure out why you feel off, but you can't quite name it, this episode is for you. If you resonate with that, let's start here. Overthinking is not a character flaw. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's not a lack of willpower. It's not a sign that anything is wrong with your mind either. And it's definitely not a sign that you need to get better at controlling your thoughts. I'm going to say that again because that is a really common belief. It is not a sign that you need to get better at controlling your thoughts. So what is it? It's a coping mechanism. Overthinking is what happens when your nervous system is activated, and instead of allowing yourself to feel what's going on, you try to solve it. So the mind jumps in and it starts spinning. And if this is resonating with you, these questions, you'll be like, oh yeah, I have thought things similar to that, or even those exact words. What did I do wrong? Should I have said something differently? I wish I could go back and change what I said. What if she's mad at me? What if he's mad at me? How can I prevent this from happening again? These are not bad questions to ask, so don't take it that way. And of course, you want to learn from your mistakes. That's great. And it shows your character. And what's happening to you is you are going up into your head to avoid what is happening in your body, whether or not you realize it. I've had new clients come in and they're like, no, I'm not feeling anything in my body. And I just say, not yet. Because up to now, feeling has felt vulnerable. And you've been taught that vulnerability is not safe, or that you need to control your emotions to be good, to be lovable. So, of course, you would default to thinking this was true for me. I was raised that emotions are something to be controlled. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make them not happen. And that's actually not how to live with ease and calm. It makes sense, though, that you would default to thinking if you were raised like that. Overthinking, we can say it like this, it's just a smarter sounding version of emotional avoidance. That's what it is. And here's what I see in my clients all the time. They're not just thinking too much. They are feeling too little. And if right now you're listening and you're like, Steph, you are freaking nuts. I am feeling all the things all the time. In fact, I don't want to feel this much. You know, you're not alone if you're having that thought or that reaction. And I promise that if you resonate with the last sentence, thinking that I'm nuts, and you resonate with at least some of what I've said so far, this is more for you than you may realize right now. Now, back to what I see in my clients when they first start working with me. They're not overthinking because they don't have emotions. They're overthinking because they've learned to suppress their emotions, to bypass their emotions, to push them down, to push them away, like sadness that never got acknowledged, anger that you were told was too much, fear that no one made room for. All of it gets shoved down, and the mind steps in to protect you with logic, analysis, and planning. But the problem is that the mind cannot heal what the body is still holding. The mind can't heal what the body's still holding. So anxiety doesn't go away. The spiral keeps spiraling. And I know there's a part of you that knows this, but you haven't known what to do instead. Or perhaps you weren't ready to do something else instead, to show up differently. And maybe if you're listening right now and you're unsure, okay, wait a second, like, is this me? Do I really overthink that much? Am I doing that instead of feeling? If there's part of you that's feeling unsure, let me ask you a few questions. To what extent do you default to figuring it out instead of sitting with the discomfort? To what extent do you have a hard time identifying what you are feeling beyond a few keywords? For instance, beyond stressed, beyond I'm fine, or beyond I'm anxious. Do you feel exhausted by how much your mind runs all day, even when nothing is wrong? Those are all signs that your nervous system might be bypassing emotion and outsourcing to your brain. And it's not failure, it's just protection. But protection is not true peace. And you might be asking yourself, okay, I'm following you, Steph. This might be me. So what do I do instead? You don't have to bulldoze your thoughts, but you can start bringing your body back into the conversation. So I want to give you a couple small steps to start with. Here's what it looks like. Pause the analysis. Gently interrupt that spiral with curiosity and ask yourself, what might I be feeling underneath all of this? And bring it back in the body. You could if you want to. You don't have to start with this part if it feels vulnerable, but you can place your hand on your heart or on your belly and ask yourself, what does this part of me need right now? And over time, your body starts to learn that feeling is not a threat. It's a form of truth telling. It's data that you can use. And you don't need to figure everything out in order to be okay. So if you've been overthinking, just hear this. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're not failing. You don't need to learn to control your mind more. Your nervous system has just been doing the best that it can to keep you safe. But you're allowed to feel now. You're allowed to soften. You're allowed to come back to yourself because honestly, I believe that's sort of the whole point. Coming back to yourself. And if that doesn't make sense right now, that's okay. A lot of people don't get it until they start working with me and then they see, oh my gosh, yes, healing doesn't happen in the spiral. It happens in the pause. It happens in the breath. It happens in the moment that you allow yourself to feel what is underneath all of it. And if this episode spoke to you, go ahead and send me a DM on Instagram or on Facebook with the word Academy. And let's talk about what it would look like for you to stop spinning and to start truly healing because you deserve to be guided. You do not have to do this alone. And until next time, remember your thoughts are not the enemy. They're almost always not a truth teller either. And usually the path forward isn't thinking more, it's feeling more.